There is a great story that Nelson Mandela used to tell. He was asked by a journalist. Now, Nelson Mandela is a very, very important case study in the leadership world because he is universally around the world regarded as a great leader. Different people are viewed differently depending on where you go in the world, but not Nelson Mandela, which is why he's an important case, right? Because it's universal. And he was asked by a journalist, how did you learn to be an effective leader, to be a good leader? And he told the story of his childhood. He grew up as the son of a tribal chief. His dad was a tribal chief. And he said, I remember going to tribal meetings with my father. And I remember two things. They always sat in a circle, and my father was always the last to speak. Now, if you think about it, when we come into meetings, the number of times we sit at the head of the table versus sitting in the middle of the table, we create a hierarchy. That's number one, as opposed to even on a rectangular table, you can create a circle, right? And you think of the number of times we come into meetings and we go, okay, here's the challenge we're facing, guys. Even if it's somebody who's good and well liked and all that, here's the challenge we're facing. I want to get your point of view. Here's what I think, but tell me what you think. Too late. Too late. You've either biased the room or you've made people feel that their opinions don't matter. So it takes a lot of discipline for a leader to say, here's the challenge, tell me what you think, and then shut up. And if it's quiet, don't say, anyone, because people who need to think before they speak, not like me who just thinks out loud, right?
You're doing great.
Process. Every time you say anyone, it restarts the system. So you have to get comfortable with uncomfortable silence, and someone will break it. And you have to be good at leading the room. Now, what do I mean by that? Much is said in leadership about self-awareness. You have to be self-aware. I actually think that's very difficult. I don't know my blind spots. I don't know how people receive me, right? Self-awareness is actually very difficult. I think we have to practice situational awareness. That's more important, right? So that when you're sitting in that room and you've asked for help, you've asked for ideas, one person's doing all the talking. Are you aware of that? Can you say, Dave, love the ideas, let's hear from somebody else? Or are you in the corner of your eye, you're catching the person who goes, and you're like, hey, Stacy, you want to say something? Or somebody who hasn't spoken at all. And at the very end, you go, hey, Tao, I know you have a point of view. I want to know what it is. A good leader isn't leading the idea set. They're leading the room. And by the way, the leader may change their mind zero based on their original thoughts, but you'll make people feel heard and you get all the benefit of all this new thinking. So you actually might learn something that actually might change your point of view. And then at the end, the leader can say, I came in here with this point of view, but I got to say, this was more valuable to me and I've changed my mind.